Yeah, hi there. These comments are for MF. I'm just using your initials for privacy purposes. And wow, this is an interesting question. So, you say, what should I do a week before the day I'm going to take the test? I think there's probably at least 4 things that you can do. Now, we have to assume you've already been practicing and speaking and writing English. You've been watching a lot of movies. You've been talking with native speakers. You've been using English on a regular basis already for several months. We're making all these assumptions. So 7 days before the test, I would continue. The first piece of advice I can give you is continue to get as much exposure to the language as you can. That means keep reading newspapers each day, watch some movies, watch TV, make sure you're still talking with native speakers. Just general exposure to the English is good. Now, my second piece of advice is simple. You should complete at least 6 independent and integrated speaking tasks. You should do the first 2 are independent, then the last 4 integrated. So complete 6 speaking practice tests and then get feedback from a TOEFL IBT speaking and pronunciation specialist. Why you want to do that? You want to make sure you get some feedback as it relates to your delivery, which is pronunciation. You want to get some feedback on your language use, which means grammar and vocabulary. And finally, you want to get some final feedback on your topic development, which means how you're organizing and developing your responses. So if you can do 6 practice tests the last week, and then get some feedback from an IBT speaking specialist, then you will be able to make a few more changes, I think, before you take the test. So that's my second piece of advice. My third piece of advice is to complete at least 1 independent and 1 integrated writing practice test. Again, get feedback from a TOEFL IBT writing specialist. I even recommend this. It's not cheap. A lot of online courses will do it, but it's not going to be cheap, I guarantee you that. But I would have the writing specialist error correct your essays. The person will rewrite the whole thing, tell you what's wrong, how you can make it a perfect essay, and have it done twice. Have one of your independent and integrated writing practice tests error corrected. Again, so you have some ideas on what some of your problems are with writing, and you can make some last minute changes before you take the test. Right? That's my third suggestion. My fourth suggestion is just make sure you familiarize yourself with the format and the structure of the TOEFL exam. You do not want to waste time when you take the test on trying to understand the directions to the test. That's unnecessary effort you don't want to waste on test day. So the week before the test, you should review the structure and the format of the test itself. Right, that's my fourth suggestion. My fifth suggestion is if you have a TOEFL book, just review the general strategies for reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And then if you want, you can complete maybe 1 or 2 reading and listening practice tests, again, to get a little bit more feedback with your progress. So those are the things I'd recommend you do. So maybe we will call these 5. These are 5 things that you can do the week before you take the test. I'll outline them one more time. Number 1, get as much exposure to the language as possible. Number 2, complete some speaking practice tests and get feedback from an IBT speaking specialist. Number 3, complete 1 independent and 1 integrated writing practice test and get feedback from an IBT writing specialist. And the fourth suggestion is to become familiar with the format and the structure of the test. Make sure you understand the directions. My last suggestion is you can take maybe a listening, maybe a reading practice test to get a little bit more feedback, and just review the general strategies for taking the test. If you can do those 5 things a week before taking the exam, that should get you going in the right direction.